I feel very scared.
Do beasts lurk amongst the workshops where beauty was once made?
And this week I've brought Most Haunted to a town called Longton and the Gladstone Potteries, which has seen great tragedy in its history.
This particular part of Stoke-on-Trent certainly played its part in maintaining the pottery's production lines. But 3 decades after it became a museum, is this a place haunted by its past? Way back in the 1770s, this area boasted one of the region's most productive sites, made possible by the rich clay and coal deposits that lay close at hand. But did this part of Staffordshire become a victim of its own success? Considerable growth was tempered by a Clean Air Act that forced these coal-fuelled ovens to burn for one last time in 1960. Yet the lifelike figures and moving furniture, as well as the mysterious footsteps and cold spots that staff and visitors are forever witnessing, suggest some members of this factory's past continue to ply their trade today.
With so much paranormal activity, we decided to start our investigation early. So last night, Kath and Amanda were completely alone and in the dark, and this is what happened.
Hello? Oh no!
Is it coming from that door? Okay, I've actually no idea what that was.
Hello? Is there any... Oh, no. Are there any spirits that used to work here?
What's that?
What?
Oh my God, Kath, I've got something on my camera. Is that your camera? Point your camera in another direction. No, it's definitely not your camera.
What was that again? Hello?
Can you see?
Can you come closer?
Oh my help. There's me. I'm not scared. I'm not scared at all.
With the exception of a few areas, just about every room at Gladstone Pottery has had some haunting tale attached to it. The yard sees ghostly workers in Victorian clothes going around their daily chores. Black phantoms are witnessed with alarming regularity throughout the site, and mischievous poltergeists are said to have made their home here.
One summer evening I was working here about 7 o'clock in the evening in the boardroom, and the stairs, as you know, are very creaky and very noisy, and you couldn't possibly walk up them without making a noise. And I heard this very clumpy footsteps coming up the stairs. I went to investigate, and there was no one there.
We are now in what is referred to as the Doctor's House. Although the original Doctor's House was built just a few hundred yards away, this one has its fair share of ghostly happenings. Doors fly open on their own, motion sensors are triggered when there's no one here. But the most scariest thing about this house are the nameless men and women who wander in the dead of night.
One of the things I've been very interested in, why should a place like this be so haunted? and I've really tried very hard to work it out. I didn't think it was a place of death. We're not talking of machinery where people could have been trapped or crushed to death or anything like that. But since coming here and talking to people, I've realised, of course, that one of the most dangerous places was the kilns. Some of them would collapse on people, and of course also people could be burnt to death inside the kilns. So, to a certain extent, it has been a place of death.
These rooms are arguably the most haunted part of the Potteries. Poltergeist activity is rife in this area. Many people hear footsteps. They also feel as though they're being watched. And these jars are supposed to move all on their own.
One of our female staff in the past has seen a gentleman dressed as a saga maker, and sagas are the items you can see over to my right there, coming down these stairs, and we don't employ saga makers anymore as it's a dying art now, and they've all gone basically.
But it's here in the 1910 office that more disturbances occur. A ghostly figure of a man with grey hair, side whiskers and a grey coat has often been seen by staff and visitors alike. Also, many staff complain of being attacked by flying objects. They're so scared that some of the staff members totally refuse to enter this building on their own.
I'm not totally sceptical, because I do believe there is things here that are unexplained. More of the staff around the site have seen visual things. I've only heard noises, but that doesn't mean to say that there isn't anything here.
So, now well aware of what to expect, it was time to introduce our guest for the day and night, and someone who is no stranger to paranormal investigations. As someone who works closely with our regular parapsychologist Kieran O'Keefe, paranormal investigator Steve Parsons has been invited to give his analysis and scientific expertise to help this investigation.
What do you think of the Gladstone Potteries as a place to be in investigation?
For a paranormal investigator, it's a veritable sweet shop. I can't think of another location where so many diverse types of activity have been reported.
Now, Amanda and Kath stayed here last night. They actually caught a light anomaly on camera. What do you think to it?
I can't explain that. It's certainly very unusual.
Now, what's your take on hauntings? You know, many people have different theories. There's stone tape theory. There's all sorts. What's your take?
There's an interesting idea that may be worth looking at in relation to this building. Archaeologists have known for a long time that ceramics, when fired to very high temperature, retain an element, a memory, if you like, of the time they were fired, the magnetic fields that were around them and other environmental information. And they use that to look back at the past. Perhaps when pots are fired or the kilns themselves are heated up to very high temperature, they also maybe retain some information from the last time they were fired.
See, I've never even thought about that. That is something that's, you know, really going to make us all think. Now, any particular time that you think hauntings are more current, like we're saying after 5 o'clock here, but we've also heard between the hours of 2 and 4 in the morning, that's when most things are active. Are there any particular times for you?
I would go with between 2 and 4 because at that time of the day, our own body rhythms make us more susceptible to having unusual experiences. For example, heart attacks are more likely during that period of time, and the way our brain works changes between the hours of 2 and 4 in the morning. So it may be that I would expect that to have some effect tonight.
And you don't get scared at all, do you?
No.
Steve also had an experiment up his sleeve that he would monitor during tonight's investigation. An idea in which he would flood a specific room with energy. It's been scientifically proven that the use of negative ions can promote and even increase the positive emotions felt in that environment. So would the paranormal investigator be able to promote such feelings in the doctor's house?
This is a very large industrial scale ioniser which will generate a large amount of negative ions to really charge up the atmosphere to see what effect it might have. And we can feel a really quite a powerful breeze now coming off the front of the machine.
So would this surge of ionised energy lift the mood and, as many believe, therefore attract increased spiritual activity? Only time would tell. And having digested the history and the ghostly tales, it was time for our investigation to begin. But what would our medium David Wells and guest psychic Ian Lawman uncover at Gladstone Pottery Museum?
Almost as if we walked onto the road.
Yeah.
My heart is racing in here.
These two boys are causing the activity in this house.
Yeah, causing havoc.
Push one of these pots off the shelf.
And he's not happy because he's...
What the
Gladstone Pottery Museum was an unusual place to spend the night. We needed to know who or what was causing so much activity, and David Wells seemed to have some answers.
So what do you pick up in here?
My heart is racing in here. My heart is physically beating. It's... I don't know if you can feel it. If you push hard there, it's beating really hard.
Yeah,
So it's racing. My heart is racing here. Now that, for me, is a sign of heart attacks.
Oh, right.
So I don't know whether people will have died here, I'm sure of that, but maybe there's a higher recorded instance of people having heart attacks because of the kilns, I suppose, of the heat.
And is it active at all in any way? Can you pick up on any presence of spirit being here?
It feels, again, residual.
Mm-hmm.
It feels stronger, though, and that's because of death. So when it feels stronger for me, and I can feel, I want to go this way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, it's stronger here because I feel people being pulled out here.
You're talking about a lot of people?
Yeah, definitely. I can hear in here these pots clicking together. I can hear them clunking together. Mm-hmm. And an old boy working here. Actually, so I think, you never know in museums what's real and what isn't real, even ones that have, been places of work. But I think this is real. I think this is actually where it happened.
And is this old man, does he visit? Is he part of a memory, or is he haunting here?
He's a visit. I think he's in between. Definitely, yeah. He's an in-between one, this one, because he seems a bit too strong to be just residual.
And do you think you'll be able to contact him, or is he too far?
I think we could try with this one.
Okay. Right.
I think what's also interesting, from my point of view as an investigator, is the electromagnetic fields in here are varying much more than they have been.
Look at that.
Now, that's one of the things that we look for, because it's one of the things that in lab research has been associated with people having paranormal experiences, are the fluctuations in the electromagnetic energy rather than the amount of electromagnetic energy.
So that's good, the fact that...
So that's interesting, because that's not been happening in other parts of the building.
So with illness and EMF fluctuations already apparent, we move outside and head over to a building labelled the Doctor's House. And it's in here that museum staff regularly report both poltergeist activity as well as mechanical misdemeanours.
This room doesn't feel right to me at all, to be honest. I know it says doctor on the front door, but I don't think there was ever a doctor here. It's to me, this feels much more like a house, like a family house. I'm sure they had a doctor on site, certainly by the pain I felt in that kiln. I'm sure there was many accidents and many problems.
Mm-hmm. Now, is, in your opinion, this particular space haunted?
I think upstairs, if anywhere.
We can see if we can have a little look upstairs.
Can I just have a wander here?
Yeah.
See, I do have, it's definitely kids peering over and running around.
And are they here all the time?
No.
No, just visiting again.
Visits, yeah.
But they will cause activity?
Yeah, definitely cause activity.
OK, so if we do hear anything up here, Then it's down to
Kids.
2 children, 3 children?
I think a couple, no more than that. But you would definitely have to. You'd have to do the vigils downstairs to get things upstairs.
I heard that.
Did you hear
A
it?
clicking noise.
That sewing machine event.
It did?
There was a clicking noise from behind me. But
I
there's some
heard.
people behind me
I
as well.
heard 2, 3 clicks.
Clicks?
From back there. Floorboard seems solid enough. That's really solid.
Yeah,
I
isn't
feel
it
it's
weird?
cast down, it's not moving
Well,
at all.
isn't
that.
it was from here.
It did sound like. It sounded like the needle going up and down.
There it
didn't
is.
Is that what it was?
That's what it sounded like to me.
I'm not sure.
Well, that's
I'm not
locked
sure whether-
there.
Try later.
Do you want to ask out now?
Yeah, if you want to.
Go on then.
If there are any astrals here, any children present, please just make a sound, play with us. No, there's about 4. Could you please tap again to tell us how many of you there is? If you can count, just tap how many children there are. 2, 3.
Where is that coming from?
Behind you. Directly behind you. I would say.
It's coming from in the walls. It's definitely something, isn't it? The tapping means that there's definitely something here.
It's worth coming back.
Definitely come back and do a séance or something, because if we can get those wrappings and get them louder. Should we head on out of here? Definitely come back later.
The doctor's house certainly was a place to return to later, but the main building needed our attention, and in particular an area called the Colour Gallery, a former workspace where a ghostly old man has vanished from sight and where poltergeists are also said to be at work.
My third eye is really active here, so that tends to me. It's one of those ones that's right in your face.
God. I don't like it when you do that.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's what I get, so I don't see why you shouldn't have it. But when they get right there, they do that to make me step back, and to make me to get me out. That you can guarantee they want you out. That's why.
Why
So
would
he's
he
a
be so
shover.
aggressive?
Because it's almost like this is his space, it's his domain, so he wants you out. And I don't know. I just want to walk through. I think whatever they did in here, he was the absolute expert. And if you cross those lines, he would have you out in a second.
So he was the boss?
He was more than that. He was an expert.
And so you're saying he's a pusher?
He's a pusher and a shover. I want to go through here though,
Yeah,
because
go.
this whole area is his
We
domain.
have got those fluctuations on the piece we do.
There's something wrong here. There's something wrong with these pots of paint. They're in the wrong order, and he's not happy. Do you know what I think it is? I think if you look at, I think it's the names. Look, if you've got brown there and brown there, you've got pink here and pink there. Well, that should be over here with the rest of the browns, and that pink should be down there.
Is that what he's upset
He's annoyed
about?
at. Yeah, he's annoyed, and these probably move because he's
What the Oh! What was that?
What was it?
annoyed, and these probably move because he's.
What the Oh! What was that?
What was it? Was it in that corner?
Yeah.
What was that? That was a huge
It
loud
was
smash.
like something smashing, wasn't it? He's not happy in this room at all. Stormy, and particularly in here. Maybe this is a good place for glass.
Just ask him to do something else before we go.
Could you move something else in this room before we go? If you don't want us here, let us know.
We'll definitely come back in here. Did you hear that? Did you hear it in there?
And I can't see what it was.
It was
Well, we
like,
couldn't see.
we
It was a
couldn't see
very
what it
loud
was.
crash.
It was a real...
It was in with you.
Yeah.
Or something cracked, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like, or something cracking open.
Where did that come from?
Well, that might be the earlier one then.
What is it?
rock.
Here we go again.
There's another one. These are at the floorboards. This one here, that's a road.
It's cold as well, it's not hot.
We got it.
Come on, do it again for us.
I've just had it in my house. So.
If there's a gentleman here that wishes to talk to us, then give us another sign.
That's actually glazed.
I've got a name, Stanley. I haven't got a surname. I don't know, that might be a surname, but it's Stanley.
Stanley, can you hear my voice? If you can you knock or throw something?
Well, that's glazed on one side as well.
Is it?
This one?
It's glazed.
It's glazed on one surface. It's like
It's
it's glazing over what
Seems
looks
to
like
be that-
concrete.
Yeah, when you walk out. Let's walk out and see if something else happens.
I think it comes in last. It's this record.
I wonder if this spins.
These two recorded bangs, at least one of which came from a small glazed stone, prove that this is a place that requires further investigation. And with one psychic seeming to have stirred things up, guest medium Ian Lawman would also soon sense a man holding a position of authority.
I just feel as if I want to stand to the wall. I feel this would have been quite hectic. It's almost as if I want to shout out the way.
Get out the way.
Get out the way, yeah, really aggressively. Okay, I've got this gentleman walking down here, very assertive, had a lot of authority with him. The first name I'm getting is Charles. He's got a case in his hand. He's rushing, somebody's poorly, somebody's ill. He's a doctor. I feel he's a doctor.
A surname with him.
Give me a name, come closer to me. Sounds like Amworth.
Okay,
Charles Amworth.
Okay.
I'm just getting like stabbing pains.
Heart attack?
I'm not sure at the moment, but I'm getting quite breathless. Quite breathless.
Okay. Do you want to move on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is our second reference to the upper body pain that is sure to have hampered those who laboured in this industry. So having identified a doctor, it seemed only right to show Ian the house where he would have lived. And although the real property fell many years ago, this wasn't to prove an obstacle to Ian's psychic ability.
Well, that's strange. Automatically, I want to walk into there. I'm obviously aware of a doctor's house sign there, and he's the doctor, but he's not there.
What do you mean?
Can we walk over?
Yeah, of course we
Here.
can.
The building's gone. I don't know whether there would have been an extension onto this building or the building would have been further away from here, but the doctor's house is no longer here.
Right.
As I saw him walk, he walked almost as if he walked onto the road.
Yeah. But this house here
Yeah.
that says doctor's house on it is not the doctor's
No,
house?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I believe the doctor is walking over this area here, so I feel that would have been something else.
Okay.
I feel like it would have been a house or something like that.
Okay. Do you want to go in there?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So this wasn't the doctor's house. What was it then?
I smell food. I feel people would have dined in this room, so I felt this would have been a house. And I see like a table here, just not a big one, just a small pint tub, what would have been scrubbed. And I see chairs around it, and I see people. A gentleman here. I see a lady over here, and two boys, so either side, next to the fire.
How old are the boys?
I feel this particular boy here is about 8, and this one maybe 5, 6. I actually feel a bit like I'm being pulled through this particular room here. I feel here.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Now this is really strange. Obviously this is done out as a doctor's office really, or doctor's surgery, but I feel once again that it's definitely not here. It's definitely over there somewhere. I see this almost as if like a little sitting room, a little snug room.
So these two boys, any names with them?
I got Jacob for one while I was in there, but it wasn't a strong name, but now you've asked me once again, I feel Jacob. I'm also picking the name of Joseph, but I feel that would have been his grandfather's name as well, Joseph, and that's why I've called him Joseph.
Right. These two boys are causing the activity in this house?
Yes, they're causing havoc.
Okay.
Both David Wells and now Ian Lawman have psychically linked this property with remnants of its past. Yet despite once housing families, the hand that once ruled here would prove to be far from hospitable as we continue our investigation in Stoke-on-Trent.
Carl, don't let him in.
The temperature had dropped and the atmosphere had changed. What did this strange location have to offer as we began our investigation at Gladstone Pottery Museum? We set about seeing just how threatening this place is in night vision by splitting into two groups. Kath and Richard join Ian Lawman in the doctor's house, a place where doors fly open and figures walk through solid objects. And with a thermal imaging camera at the ready, paranormal investigator Steve Parsons joined the rest of us as we contend with an area that appears to be dominated by an authoritative figure and poltergeist activity.
Is this table shaking, or is this my imagination?
Shaking.
Shit. Can you feel that? Can you feel
It's
it?
trembling.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I don't mean you any harm.
Come on, come on. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
I don't mean you any harm. I just need to know you're here.
Okay, keep going, keep going,
I
keep
need
going.
to
Don't
know you're
analyse it.
here. Move something in this room. Please move something in this room.
I'm itching all over.
That's a good sign.
All that is a good sign. It's astral.
Do something. Do something more than that. Take me over.
No, don't do that. There we go again. Sorry, I'm shares that.
I'm itching all over.
That's just energy. That's not a bad thing.
Listen.
That was a male
Oh no.
groan. Right, okay. Now, around me, I feel really like there's a draft
Whereabouts?
around my hands.
I don't want to speak to you guys, but to the left of me, in Richard's right in this corner here near the cabinet, there's a gentleman stood there.
Oh, gee.
Oh, I feel very scared. Is the guy still here?
Yeah, but I feel he's in the other room. Shall we walk in the other room?
Yeah. This is obviously the waiting room. Hang on.
What? What's the matter? What?
Well,
What?
you're not going to believe what I've just seen.
What?
Come on.
I have just seen feet outside.
Where?
in trousers stood like this.
What, through the windows?
Through the window.
Looking through the window at us?
Well-
I didn't see her face. I just saw feet, like, stood over there. It could have been Richard in
Well, hang on.
Torch on.
Torch off. No. How weird was that?
Where?
Right? Out, honest to God.
No, I believe you.
It was like somebody was stood outside, just stood there, in a long overcoat. Oh, I might see my first ghost.
You alright, Carl?
Yeah. You alright, mate? Yeah, fine.
What's up?
No, I'm fine.
Your voice changed,
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Your voice changed, sorry.
I'm fine.
Are you affecting Carl? If you are, please move the table as a sign of yes. Are you affecting Carl? You ask David, he responds to you. Oh. Okay, it's affecting you. What was that?
It sounded like it came from right next to me, and I'm absolutely convinced I didn't move.
You didn't?
You didn't move.
No, you didn't seem to.
It's affecting you. Are you furious? Do you want us to leave? Do you hate us being here? Do you want us to leave now? Oh, are you all right, Carl?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Crying out loud. Carl, don't let him in. Carl.
Shit, sorry.
All right, mate.
Sorry.
Oh,
I feel sick. You want to come outside? Carl?
oh.
You want to come outside?
Well, Zane.
Yeah?
Will you come and speak to Carl?
Yeah. Clear.
You alright? I'm alright.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Don't worry about me. I just want to make sure you're all right.
If you are truly, truly angry, then do something else.
Can you ask about the jars?
Push one of the jars off this shelf.
If there's the slightest part of you that wants to experience it,
I did.
slightest part, then your doorkeeper will, in essence, let not for long, which is what happened, but will let you in a way to teach you a lesson.
Push one of the jars off the shelf. Wigan? Someone? I've just been saying, can you please push one of the jars? And now there's a cold spot on the... Stay still.
So it's growing.
Okay, can you see the cold spot on the jar? Can you see it? Can you see it? Okay, got it.
Doubled in size.
It's
since
doubled
we've
in
been watching
size.
it.
Push the jar off the shelf if you can. That's amazing. I've never seen anything like that in my
But you
life.
can confirm I'm not touching
No,
any of the
it's
controls.
pulsating. Carl, can you see this? Are you all right, sweetie?
Yeah, sorry. I'm really sorry about that.
That's
I'm
all
really
right.
sorry.
That is bizarre. A cold spot to appear on a jar like that and then just for it to get... Oh my God, it's gone.
Same shot.
Something just hit me. No, it went here.
I think we've lost that one for the time being. Top of the corner now.
Is it? You got it? Is it there? So you've got a cold spot?
Higher one jar row up at top corner.
Is there something behind me? Got the truth?
Yeah.
The jar by your left shoulder's gone cold.
Really? Could you just touch it, John?
Yeah, which one? That one?
That one. Touch it.
Not that one.
No, that one.
That one.
Yeah.
It's not actually. It's not as cold as that one.
In fact, you've left your handprint on it.
Yeah.
It's showing cold here.
Oh, is that you?
That came. I saw that. That came from there.
Ask him to throw something else. There's another tap.
We're getting very close to tape end on.
Yeah, I've got 5 minutes here.
We need to get some more tapes. We can't leave this.
Why don't you start to wind it up and then let's bring somebody else in?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, fresh energy as well.
Having just witnessed a curious array of events and outbursts in more than one part of the museum, David and I were keen to see what lingered down below, particularly in a cellar said to host several disturbing sounds.
Watch your head when you come down.
Well, right there.
This is proper most haunted territory, isn't it? It's what, John? Proper most haunted territory. Yeah, it is a bit. Ooh. Right, this is it. There's no rooms off here.
Okay.
There's no what? No rooms off here. This is the... Right, so this is the main bit. Yeah.
Do you feel anything here?
What was that? What?
Breathing sound.
No, what was
I heard
that?
a door shutting or...
Do you feel anything?
I heard a very clear breathing sound. A sigh.
I heard a clunk.
I did too. Is there anybody here? Anybody down in this cellar? Maybe you can make a noise.
What's that?
Don't know.
Was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me hitting it with
Shite.
Sorry.
Come on! Where are you? Give us some sort of sign for.
Oh, yes.
There we go. Where are you? Give us some sort of sign for.
Oh, yes.
There we go. Thank you.
Where was
What was that? It was round
It was
where
like a
you
nail.
were. A nail. Okay.
There's bits of crap on the floor. There's nothing metal.
We all heard that, didn't we?
But it was right way over there, wasn't it? It wasn't... It doesn't go back that far.
You didn't move anything, did you, John?
No.
There are 2 children here, 2 boys. Please play with us. Come on, have some fun. Who did that noise then?
I heard it.
Did you? Come on, have some fun. Who did that noise then? If that's you, please can you make that noise again?
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
What's up?
Someone just touched me on the arm.
Something touched you on the arm?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't believe 3 times or 4 times I heard that.
Definitely.
With David feeling something touching his arm, a metallic nail sound catching us all unawares, and a series of sinister murmurs sounding far too close for comfort, this place was becoming scarier by the hour. Would we make it through the night at Gladstone Pottery Museum? Despite being integral to this region's creative past, Most Haunted's attention is firmly focused on the amount of paranormal activity occurring here at Gladstone Pottery Museum. So whilst Ian Lorman leads a séance circle in the Colour Gallery, I venture outdoors and join David and Kath in the isolated and chilling kiln.
Freezing. What was that?
What was that rumble?
Oh.
What? What?
What's that?
What was that?
Hello? Hello? Is everybody here?
You are joking me. What was it?
It's a big stick, a big metal.
Big metal bar, was it?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it was
did-
leaning against the wall.
It was.
When
Did
we
someone-
were in here before. I don't think I knocked it. I was
I didn't knock
last
it.
in the line.
sick, actually. I feel dizzy.
I feel just elated again.
You feel scared. Yeah, I can't move now. I'll be right up now. Yeah, someone else was sick. Dizzy and disorientated. Yeah.
Is anybody here? Any spirit people? Any astral beings that would like to talk to us? What was that noise? Any astral beings that would like to talk to us? It was a scraping shuffle. Oh! Hell. Is that same stick?
I'm just coming round to it now. No, this stick's here.
Is it up?
It's up and still in the same place.
Well, what the hell was that then?
That must have been further round.
It was right round, wasn't it?
I'm standing at the original one now and it's still up.
No, it was like right round the corner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it was. There aren't many metal things here. It's not that.
No, it's not that.
Can you make another sound, please, if there is a spirit person that wishes to talk to us? Touch one of us gently. Make a noise. Shout out.
We mean you no harm. Are you angry? Are you angry? Are you mad with us? Angry?
What have we done? No, shit. Not really, no. Step out, mate. Don't. You sure? Step out, will you? Just chill. Come back in when you're better. Yeah. Just take a deep breath. God, it's gone down. This is horrible. I'm getting horrible feeling inside.
Stay calm! Stay!
Is that the light bulb above us? It is, it's the light bulb above us. Hang on, where's the glass gone? Has it not got anyone? Let's be safe.
That's where it is.
Where's it, Carl? Tell
You got from there to there then? Well, I thought it smashed right.
Oh, I thought it was down here.
I thought down there like that.
Whilst our vigils elsewhere had offered plenty of talking points, the colour gallery had thrown more than most in our direction. Could we connect David's earlier link to the moody and imposing man that seemed to have affected several crew members in this same room? And with a light bulb shattering on a shelf that lay several yards from any of our investigators, had we just witnessed further proof that Gladstone pottery still resonates to the memories of its productive past?
Since we left Gladstone Potteries, I've had a chance to think back on some of the events that took place. Two in particular stand out. Perhaps the most interesting thing that took place was whilst using the thermal imager during a séance. One of the stone slipware jars was noticeably colder than the ones surrounding it. This coincided with small pieces of ceramic apparently seemingly being thrown across the room. Although when I had the chance to return later and take some more measurements, the jar was near a window, but that was insufficient to explain why that one jar in particular had a different temperature than the others. I've also had a chance to check the thermal imager to make sure it was being used correctly, and I'm satisfied it was.
Stay calm! Stay!
Is that the light bulb above us? It is.
Late in the investigation, Carl called me into one of the rooms where apparently a light bulb had unscrewed itself from a frame and been thrown across the room. Unfortunately, I wasn't there, so I don't really feel able to comment further on that. But on the face of it, it did look to be an exciting incident.
Problem is, I was stood here, so none of you could have thrown it.
Well, we couldn't have thrown it. We were sitting at the table.
Well, I mean,
I was over there at the time.
Stuart was over there, so the bulb would have had to gone through me to get to there.
Yeah, but you'd have to gone up there and
But
taken
it
it off
also
first.
sounded as if it had smashed on the floor. Didn't it?
Yeah. Well, I thought it smashed right.
Oh, I thought it was down here.
I thought down there like that.
think for me, the abiding memory of Gladstone Pottery, I think I said to Yvette, it was a sweet shop for the paranormal investigator, and that certainly seemed to be the case on the night. We had a lot of activity taking place. The atmosphere within the building was fantastic, and there were one or two other bumps and crashes that perhaps I think would be well worth going back to look at again.
So, as an amazing and equally mystifying investigation comes to a close, we're left asking how many souls continue to ply their trade long after the factory floor stopped. Sleep tight.
Think you're the greatest, most haunted fan on the planet? There's only one way to prove it. Go to livingtv.co.uk/most haunted and play the Super Fan Quiz. Great prizes to be won, over 18s only. See the website for terms and conditions.
I don't know about you, but that scared me witless. Next, it's back to Gladstone Pottery Museum as we go behind the scenes of tonight's investigation in Most Haunted Extra.